This isn't a tomb. It's a prison.
Nick!
The hieroglyphs said she was named Amenet, chosen to be Egypt's next queen. But her thirst for power led her down a darker path, one that had to be stopped.
Because of your actions, this ancient power has returned.
Hi, welcome to What the Flick. We're taking time out from watching Comey coverage to talk to you about The Mummy.
Because we have priorities.
No, I was up at like 5:30 this morning writing just to like get my shit clear by 7 a.m. I'm like,
that's dedication. Popcorn waiting for you at home.
My kid was late for school today. It was all worth it. So anyway, Christy and Alonzo and Matt, we are multi-purpose here for you on What the Flick today. But we're going to talk about The Mummy, which is the beginning of Universal's dark universe.
Possibly also the end.
It might be. Tell us what it's about, please.
Tom Cruise is a soldier who also is stealing priceless antiquities from the Middle East on a adventure with, who is it, Jake Johnson, to go and find something. They stumble across a sarcophagus who turns out to hold a former Egyptian princess who was exiled to that, or in death, exiled to what was then Mesopotamia, 1,000,000 miles away.
1,000.
1,000, whatever.
Specifically, it's 1,000.
1,000 miles away.
In Mesopotamia.
Right, exactly. So, did they walk like an Egyptian?
No.
Anyway, so
sarcophagus.
They dig up the sarcophagus, and dig up a sarcophagus in a modern movie. Of course, there's gonna be a mummy that's gonna kill everybody.
She will not stop until she has remade our world into her own.
Please just stay with me.
I'm scared.
I'm gonna figure this out.
Don't leave me.
You can't run. You can't escape. She's got plans for you.
But she's like a sexy mummy.
Oh, God.
She's hot mummy. If
She's
you have a mummy
hot,
fetish.
yeah. She's
Right,
a
she's a MILF.
She's the MILF, exactly.
She's a mummy I'd like to.
Oh God, this movie is so misguided in so many ways.
The riffs on this movie are gonna be better than almost anything in the movie.
Yeah, no, it was somebody was already saying I can't wait for the Flophouse episode on this one. Just for starters, I can't think of a movie maybe ever, or at least not in the last 20 years, that has completely had no idea what to do with Tom Cruise.
And yet, as I was saying to Matt walking out, it's like a quintessential Tom Cruise movie in a lot of ways.
In a lot of ways, yes.
Right?
There's a lot of running and there's a lot of near death.
No, but prior to that, he's every Tom Cruise character.
He's a scamp.
He's arrogant and he is only looking out for himself.
Right.
And then through the love of a beautiful woman, he learns that there is a greater good out there for which he must
Tyler Perry
fight. It's every Tom Cruise movie ever.
There is a Tom Cruise arc, but there are so many shots of him doing this.
Well, he's possessed.
But before he's possessed, even though he just is confused and he's just standing there slack-jawed. It's like, that's not really the Tom Cruise wheelhouse. Tom Cruise is active and getting stuff done, whether it's good or bad. And here he just spends a lot of the movie going, yeah. And it's weird.
He's a pawn.
And he does all this weird stuff that gets everyone else in trouble. I mean, really, there's a subtext to this movie that's like, man, hot women will get you in trouble.
Or they could be your salvation, depending on which hot woman you're talking about.
Well, right, but
Can we talk about Annabelle Wallis as the blonde Egyptologist?
She's so pretty, and I love the fact that after the big plane crash, this is not a spoiler, this is like the most famous set piece if you've read anything about this, which was badass.
That's an awesome scene.
The plane crash is badass, and it's also quintessential Tom Cruise in that it's so clear he's doing his own stunts.
Of course.
Because he's He's clear because he's clear. But he, that's like the best part of the whole movie. But then like afterward, she just looks perfect. He looks perfect because he's possessed by the mummy spirit.
Right.
But she's like flawless.
Listen,
like
if that's a curse coming back looking like Tom Cruise, sign me up.
50-something shirtless Tom Cruise.
Here's the thing, though. I've never seen that actress before. It is one of the most inert lead performances I think I've ever seen in like a big Hollywood movie.
Didn't you see that Annabelle spin-off of The Conjuring
I did
with
not.
the creepy doll? Is it because like it's a creepy doll? And you
No, I just heard it was
there?
terrible and I didn't have to see it, so I didn't. And I'm not going to see the sequel either.
So this movie does have a few things going for it, right? Like the big set pieces are well staged and exciting and thrilling. All right?
There's a pretty good ambulance chase with some ghouls.
Right, there's a fight scene, when Russell Crowe and Tom Cruise are fighting, that's pretty well staged. Like there's a lot of stuff that works in this, and there are moments where, Jake Johnson's bits, even though they're lifted pretty much almost exactly right out of
American Werewolf in
London, that works. Like that would work, but it's, if you wanted to do something like that, there's horror, comedy, adventure aspects for some of this movie, and then there's straight up action thriller aspects of this movie, and the movie can't juggle the tones right. And
there's franchise world building.
Well, and there's franchise world building.
That's part of the problem, yeah.
But the biggest, all of which, we've seen this in other comic book movies. I get what they're trying to go for. I don't really resent them for trying to do that, fine, right? You got it, Universal's got to be panicking, looking at Warner Brothers and looking at Disney and saying, oh my God, we need one of these. We got these characters, let's see if we can make it work. Sure, fair game, fine.
Yeah.
But God, write some fucking dialogue that works. The dialogue in this movie is, like there's moments that I wanted, it was all I could do in this screening to keep from just straight up doing the Mystery Science Theater. The dialogue in this movie is howlingly awful sometimes.
Well, they have to explain everything. As you say, the world building element of this first film is the problem.
Here's the thing, the expository stuff is probably some of the best writing in it.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean
it's kind of dull. They all stand around and explaining themselves.
No, like this, that's not nearly as bad as, for 15 seconds you acted like a real human. Come on, that was longer than 15 seconds. Like, come on.
This
is
like
this is like 80s shitty Porky's level comedy.
Here's the thing, but no, you're right though. It's like on the one hand you've got comedy adventure, and
to be clear, Porky's is
and then you've got you've got your horror stuff, and that doesn't fit together. The let's like what the next 10 movies are isn't fitting together either, and it's just so personality free. Like people talk about these sort of big franchisee movies as being corporate product, and I think there are times when a director can sort of get some flavor in there. If you look at something like Guardians of the Galaxy or Wonder Woman or even some of the better Fast and the Furious movies, like there's a life in there, and this one just feels like it just came off the assembly line. It is so inert and safe and dull, and it's basically a big stupid movie that should have committed to being bigger and stupider.
Well, right, so it's corporate mandated filmmaking in the worst way, right? And for all the Batman fans out there, I have complained at length about Batman v Superman. It's no longer the worst on my list.
I will tell you what though.
I will say,
there's a new sheriff in town.
Right, there is. There
are two of them.
Right,
they're Jekyll and Hyde.
Batman v Superman is better than this movie.
Wow, that's a bold statement.
If I were forced at gunpoint to watch one of them again,
I guess. No, but this one's shorter.
I would go with
this
BVS.
Is shorter though. This would be less of your time to devote.
It doesn't feel shorter.
Doesn't help.
It's an hour 50. I will say, you say that there's no personality.
That's an hour 50 too long.
Yeah, it's personality free. It's lifeless. You say. I mean, I would say that when Russell Crowe is chewing his scenery as Hyde, there's some fun to that.
But meanwhile, in another movie, though,
right? And so, yeah, I don't think I realized going into this was also going to be a Jekyll and Hyde origin story,
which we've just spoiled.
And that's not he is Henry Jekyll on IMDb. I mean, they're not hiding this.
They're not hiding this.
Surely you check.
But like those parts, because he has to switch quickly from one to the other, like it's a showy, actorly thing, and that's kind of fun. But again, as you say, the stuff he's stuck saying while he's switching from one to the other is like, let me explain to you why I'm now Jekyll, and let me explain to you why I'm now Hyde.
Why shouldn't they have a Courtney accent?
Because he's angry. He's Hyde.
As long as he doesn't sing.
Yeah, and personality-free Annabelle Wallis. Jake Johnson, I mean, has glimmers of personality, but again, it all feels like it's from a different movie. None of them ever fit together. It's scary here and there, I guess, because it's creepy, like when she turns the people into her mummy army. What are they, zombies? What are they?
Are they ghouls? I wasn't sure.
And then you can like bust your hand through them, so they're not really zombies.
Why am I forgetting this woman's name?
Annabelle Wallis.
No, the other one, the mummy.
Sofia Boutella.
Yes, who was in Kingsman.
Yes, and she's going to be in Atomic Blonde later this summer.
Cool.
She's
Okay.
much better in that.
She has presence for days, although it's funny. Your choices here are like super bland woman who never says anything interesting, or like hot demon who will literally suck the life out of you. These are the characters.
That's every woman.
Yeah.
And is she fetishized? Oh yes. If mummies are your thing, or if they weren't before, they will be now.
Those are some tightly wrapped bandages.
She's super naked. So, but like tastefully, sheer naked. I don't know. This is a weird hot.
Yeah, I had to adjust my score down.
You were too generous.
Really?
Yeah.
It's okay.
Okay. What's your number? Do you want to do, since we're talking about numbers?
Sure, why not?
Do you want to do numbers now?
Yeah, 2.
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay, so that.
Which, look, somebody will go back and say, "Oh, your Batman v Superman score was too low." Yeah, okay. Retroactively, I'll bump it up. But this movie sucks.
I'm now the high one on this. I'm really embarrassed by that.
2.5. Yeah, like there's a couple of moments that sort of work on their own, but they are in the service of this thing that it just doesn't know what it wants to be. Or wants to be too many things or whatever, but it's not any fun at all.
3.5 for me. Not nearly enough open-handed Tom Cruise running. There is some.
A little bit.
Of the
We put up a supercut of Tom Cruise running on Rotten Tomatoes.
It's so good.
Make sure to check that out.
Let me ask you really fast though. I see. Speaking of Twitter, a lot of folks are saying this is Tom Cruise's worst movie. I'm not sure it is. Is it Tom Cruise's worst movie ever?
It's hard to say. I mean, like I'm not a fan of Lions for Lambs or Legend or Cocktail, but like I said, I think this is a movie that misuses him in a big way.
Yeah, I might say Rock of Ages.
He's good in it though. Rock of Ages is a terrible movie, but he's
the only
good in
thing
it.
good going on in Rock of Ages.
Valkyrie's distracting because to me it's just Tom Cruise and an eye patch.
So this movie stinks. What I'm happy about with this movie is that, now watch, I'm gonna say this and then I'm gonna get a bunch of hate. We're not gonna get diehard Mummy fans like, you guys suck, you don't understand this character, the way that Batman fans can sometimes be. Not all Batman fans, but there's, yeah. And I don't think people are obsessing over the Mummy.
No, I mean, because I think for a lot of the people who are the main demo of movies, their idea of the Mummy is the Brendan Fraser movies.
Right.
Which were sort of like,
awesome now.
By comparison, sure, bring them on. Yeah, I mean, they were basically sort of like Indiana Jones kind of knockoffs.
They were fun.
But I mean, like, I don't know, I think you have to dig deeper. Boy, the puns are not. These are not intentional.
My recommendation: 3 or 4
Christopher Lee, Boris Karloff. That's like older school.
Right. You need. Don't see this sober. Don't see it sober.
Totally sober.
I know that was a huge mistake on our.
Don't see it.
No, but if you're gonna go see it, like, look, you want to have a good time. Get a bunch of friends together, get shit-faced, go see this, and laugh your asses off. That's what's going to be fun.
I don't even think it's that fun.
I don't think it's that fun either. And then if you see it in IMAX 3D, go and vomit up your Long Island iced teas in the bathroom afterward.
Oh yeah, the 3D adds nothing.
IMAX 3D.
They made us see it in 3D. It doesn't do it. It doesn't. Nope. Don't bother.
So don't.
Nope.
Don't.
Stop.
Bye.
Let's go watch Don't.